the feeling I get at the end of this 3-day workshop is I feel lighter. I feel liberated because it's something that it's something that I've been holding on to for pretty much like since I was age 9, and I feel really free. I feel like I've let something go that I've been holding on to.
So the Voices to End FGM project started in 2017, really when I went to StoryCenter to take part in a workshop. While there, I connected with Amy, who is the Silent Speaks director at StoryCenter, and we really decided that it would be really important if we could come together and create a workshop where survivors within the United States could really take part in this 3-day workshop, bond as a community, but also create their own digital stories that could be used to really highlight, again, that this is an issue within the United States as well.
StoryCenter is a nonprofit organization. We've been around for more than 20 years now, and we do community-based storytelling and participatory media.
We're here today, and for the past several days, because we partnered with George Washington University School of Public Health to do another workshop which was specifically focused on female genital cutting, but also really highlighting health and really highlighting what our experiences and survivors are having with healthcare professionals in the United States.
Our experience working with Sahiyo and StoryCenter has been amazing. We knew about MARIYA and her advocacy work from before we even put in the grant application. And then when we saw her final videos, we knew we had to have her and work with her and this amazing group to add that personal story and stories to the web toolkit that we developed.
I know also that a lot of mental health professionals don't have a lot of experience. They're a little bit taken aback and don't know how to handle things like sensitive subjects like FGM. So I thought maybe talking about my experience might help them.
It reminded me that as an advocate that I am, it's important for me to take time for myself because I have not been very good with that. And I think these last 3 days forced me to be in a space where I was just focusing on myself and my healing. I chose to share this particular story in the workshop because it is something that I've been sitting on for the last maybe 16 to 17 years. And I wanted to share with the world how it has impacted my health and also as a way of getting back to other women maybe out there who might have similar complications but are suffering in silence.
I chose to share my story so that another girl will not go through the same pain that I went through.
It was a great opportunity to share the story of one of my patients on how important it is for women's health, how deeply personal it is, the role of the healthcare provider in sharing that story with sensitivity and cultural humility.
Well, I always share my story, but I have never shared it the way I've shared it these last few days and in the workshop.
I've gained a lot of confidence to actually share my story anywhere and everywhere.
It was amazing sharing the story with the group, and honestly I came in with no story, and then by the end of it, after hearing everybody else's story I pretty much knew exactly what I wanted to say, so that was pretty great.
It has been very humbling and inspiring, and one in awe of the women that have participated, right? Both facilitators and the storytellers sharing their experiences.
I would say it was emotional, but at the same time empowering, because just seeing a group of women that are not ashamed or have the confidence to speak up against something that is told to not even mention ever.
I think we're seeing now a really exciting willingness of more and more people, not just survivors, to come forward, but allies and advocates and others that are affected by the issue.
So much power in sharing your story. And there's so much shame that gets taken away when you start sharing your story. And you realize that there's a huge community, especially even here in the US, there's a huge community of survivors. So there's really no shame.
They still have the taboo and the barrier here, so I don't know how I was able to do it, but I'm just grateful. I think the first point was that I was healed. And when you are not healed, it's not easy to speak out.
I have a greater appreciation for the power of storytelling. I saw what happened in the room. I saw the bonding, I saw the sharing, and it's impressive to witness.
From this workshop, I've better appreciated how we can be more responsible, more sensitive, more of an advocate in our roles as healthcare providers.
This workshop over the 3 days has just been actually really incredible, just to see the progression that survivors and healthcare providers have started with, having such interesting stories that are very long and elaborate, and turning those into scripts and moving those into actual videos that can be used as advocacy tools. So for me, it's been a really interesting experience to watch their experience going through that process.
I would hope that at least with any health professionals that are watching my video, that it's on their radar.
While we can curate the content, we can look at all the research studies, and that's on our web toolkit, nothing beats having a personal story. And that is going to make it a more fulfilling toolkit for everyone who visits that toolkit. They're going to get the numbers. They're going to find out where FGM is happening, that it's happening in the US, but they're going to hear people's voices. And not only their voices, they're also going to hear their personal stories. And that is going to create a more comprehensive toolkit.
It's an honor to be able to share these women's stories and to have them trust us to be the filter for their voices.
I've done this workshop 4 times now, 5 times actually in total, but 4 for the particular specific Voices to End FGMC project. And I'm just always in awe of the overall experience. Really thinking about like what surprised me or what I've learned is just like, it's not what I learned. I think it's more that I get hopeful, or I feel really inspired by everyone in the room and the work that they're doing. And then I just, in terms of, I feel incredibly hopeful that we are making an impact, and that impact is going to just ripple out into the world too.